That's the core of vulnerability. I'm going to reveal myself to you and trust that you won't hurt me.
I didn't even want to entertain the thought of someone having enough power or someone even thinking or knowing that they could impact me.
I'm over it. I haven't got it all together.
I don't want people to know that I'm unwanted.
Yeah.
The reality of the situation is sometimes we are glowing and growing and yet we get it wrong.
100. Hello and welcome to the To My Sisters podcast. I'm Courtney.
And I'm Renee, and we are your online sisters and hosts of the To My Sisters podcast.
We are all about promoting the wellness, growth and development of a community of sisters around the world.
And in today's episode, we're talking about dealing with rejection.
Very fitting.
Not
for me personally. Whoa.
Courtney has all the shots she has shot in her life. She has just knocked it out of the pack. But today,
I meant based off of last week's episode.
I was about to say, God damn, give us the blueprint, because some of us are sliding into the DMs. We're not getting what we want. Dealing with rejection, failure, and also making big life mistakes. Catastrophize. God bless you. It's okay. Catastrophize. That's what we're doing. So yeah, sisters, today's episode, we're having a bit of a really quick chit chat about just dealing with life's mistakes. I think that sometimes we can focus so much on glowing and growing and overcoming that sometimes we make mistakes, and really bad ones.
Terrible ones,
sometimes we get rejected.
Oh Lord.
A lot, in fact. And sometimes we fail badly. So how do we actually have conversations about these things first and foremost, and then how do we look to pivot, change, move and grow from these very real experiences that we feel and go through in our lives? For real. So sisters, that is up and coming. But before we do get into that, we do have some housekeeping rules. You know, we like a swept house at the TMS HQ. The first is that TMS live in London is still live, but not for very long.
Very long.
TMS live in London. Yes, it is the biggest undertaking that we have ever done at To My Sisters. Like, it's literally one of the biggest girls party, biggest shows that we have hosted ever, and it's being hosted at Hackney Empire on October 27th, Friday evening. So if you would like to enjoy a Friday evening with the sisters, our flagship annual show, the third year of TMS, and here's to many more. By God's grace, be praying for us. Then please grab a ticket, and not just grab a ticket, but grab one for your friends. In fact, grab one for a couple of friends, because we've got some special discounts for those that are bringing some cool people to the show. It is promising to be an excellent show. We've got some phenomenal hosts.
They might actually be out by now,
for sure. They probably
are. So definitely head over to Instagram. Basically,
hello.
We are recording this 3 weeks before you're watching it.
3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
3 weeks for the TND.
Because we're currently gallivanting in Bali. And so, we don't know what's happening. To be very honest, the internet might have even crumbled.
To be honest, you know what I mean? They're about Armageddon. Armageddon. Yeah, we're out of office. Child, you may have heard this announcement like 2 weeks ago. Child, we don't know what the tickets are saying.
We have no idea what's going on. But actually, you should go to the socials to find out.
Go to the socials. But whilst you're going to the socials, before you do that, buy the ticket. Your priority.
Secure your spot.
Don't miss out. This is the biggest girls party of the year.
100. But sisters, thank you so much to everyone who has bought a ticket so far. 100%. You lot are rolling out strong. And it's crazy that we can drop tickets and like at least half of them be gone like that. So genuinely, thank you so much.
It's giving sisterhood in the UK and sisters across the world.
Yes.
When your time to show up comes, show up.
I
just heard the from the South African sisters somewhere in the back there. I heard it already. I know you guys are ready. It's okay. We've heard. But that actually brings us nicely to another announcement, which is Ghana is not that far away. Neither is South Africa. We're on our way. We're
entering September. What is the meaning of that?
That sounded so. You know when aunties,
what is the meaning of that?
God, it's giving what is the meaning of this. 2023 is wrapping it up. So let's wrap it up well.
Yeah.
In dirty December.
We love to see
it. Dirty but not so dirty. Dirty but not so dirty December. Okay. It's dirty in that, we're going to be having
we're going to have fun. But the fun is going to be holy. Let's be for real.
If you choose to be dirty, I will tell my face. That has nothing to do with me. That's you and your creator.
But honestly, come and turn up in Ghana with us in Accra. 100%. We're also going to be going to Tamale to follow up on our school building projects with sisters. You have absolutely smashed. By now, I'm sure we are actually at our goal. We have surpassed it.
All we do is win,
no matter what. DJ God bless you all. And honestly, we're going to be making like an official announcement and having an episode around what it is that we have done.
Right.
But genuinely, just to put this in here, thank you. Like, we love you guys. We're building a school. We've raised the money and now we're pressing forward so that we can complete it in excellence.
Come on now.
So honestly, God bless you all. To everyone who donated, anyone who shared a link, anyone who mentioned it to somebody, or even just dropped a comment saying what we were doing was amazing and gave us support and encouragement there. We genuinely love you and we appreciate you for showing that this is more than just a podcast. This is a movement of women, but more importantly, this is a sisterhood. And that sisterhood has power. Okay, so God bless.
Thank you, folks, so much. Genuinely, from the bottom of our hearts, from the top of our hearts, we're just
everything.
Full. We're just full. So we get a bit emotional with that, you know. Just this. If you guys are listening to, you need to come over and see the way that Courtney just looked at me. She said, "What in the get out of here. Boo, tomato, boo." It must be,
guys, I'm not toxic. Yeah, I'm not toxic in real life.
It's the deliriousness, guys. I'm telling you, it's been
we are
the past. You know what? We might have to do an episode just on this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. You actually haven't had like a late night. It's not late night. It's 1 in the afternoon.
It really is.
But like, you haven't had a just Courtney and Renee kickback, just chat, gisting. We are shattered. You know when we made that episode about being multifaceted, babe? It was for us. It was about us.
There were so many people that were like, "Oh, at me next time." I can't at you. We're
the characters already occupied. We are talking about us. We have been stretched to the point of, one more little milliliter. This is pop.
It's giving contemporary dance out here.
Honestly, it's been a great time.
It's been a great time.
It's been a beautiful season of life, of so many different opportunities. And blessings, like genuine blessings. But my God, the responsibilities, and generally not everything has been up though. Like some of the lows have been actually quite low. And that's also, that contrast has also been hard. Like being high and then being low.
Making some big girl decisions.
Big girl decisions. And just having a lot of work, if we're going to be honest. Having a lot of work, both individually, both with TMS, like we're live shows, international trips. It's a lot. And so we have been a little bit burnt out. So definitely pray for the sisters. Right. But one thing we're going to do is show up. 100%. Even if it means just showing up and being real and saying, listen, we're tired. And that's why I ain't worn makeup for about 7 weeks. I don't even think I'm about to travel with makeup in my suitcase.
Do you know what? I was genuinely thinking this because I was just
I'm over it. I'm over it. I haven't got it all together.
To
guys, if you want to see what's under this wig,
please. Courtney, please, because I was also thinking this because I was just thinking, I'm gonna have to leave to Bali soon. You know, the whole maintenance, doing your hair and all that kind of stuff. Normally lashes, nails, y'all go get some stick-on nails first and foremost. Y'all ain't getting no lashes from me. As for the hair, you might just get 2 pigtails or something.
And that might be enough. Literally, like, guys, you guys saw and you complimented my soft locks. Thank you. I took them out after 3 days because they were getting on my last nerve. And now I'm flying out in some say 15 hours. Allegedly.
Some say
allegedly 15 hours, and what's under this isn't even K-Rose.
Don't ask what. Leave it there.
It's mystery.
It's a mystery to even us, the occupiers. It's a mystery. But you know what? Sometimes life gets that way.
Exactly.
And we're just being honest. We are genuinely hitting a point of like capacity.
Yeah.
So we're doing our best to show up. We appreciate you guys showering us with love, prayers. Please keep them up.
Yeah.
We are still thinking about To My Sisters 4.0. Like 3.0 has been great. But 4.0 is about to be heavy. So we are taking our own advice. We are going to rest up after this whole Bali experience. We're going to take some time.
But can you imagine we haven't even been doing this for 3 years yet?
Oh.
Blessings on blessings on
but
blessings.
That's I guess that's just a testament to the power of what we're doing. Literally, right?
Like, and the power of this community,
the acceleration. And the funny thing is, folks will say, the acceleration has been like big, but it's like, no, actually this is built off of a friendship that's 15 years, baby. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Roots.
Right, it's got some deep roots already. So if anything, this is just
Bamboo.
the tip, right? The tip of an iceberg that has very, very deep roots. So it's not a surprise that there's some accelerants. But having said that, it means if this is our initial 3 years, then the next 3 years we have work to do.
Woo, God is good.
Work to do.
God
and we're going to be
good.
insufferable.
Yes.
And
we have to be.
Anyways, to God be the glory.
Hallelujah.
Be praying for our sisters, especially praying for my good sis Courtney. This is probably going to be like 3 or 4 weeks after she's returned, but you know what?
So I'm going to Singapore, Bali, and Thailand, and parts of me regrets it, but also I'm in my young single era. So I need to make the most of my young single childless era.
There we go.
And so, I'm about to be traveling around, and then I'm going to be linking up with this one and our new girls, the squad, the Bali babes in Bali. But even with that, it's like, you want to seize all the opportunities you get.
Right.
I'm tired.
When you get to Thailand, you just got to lie down.
Oh.
In that forestry. Even this whole retreat, I need to drop in the group chat and say, sisters,
we're going to be sleeping.
Rest.
But I also think generally, like, we all need it, because when we do international retreats like this, we do community calls, which are once every month, and we literally just sit down and we talk about just how we are and just trying to get to know everyone. It's just an amazing opportunity to be vulnerable and build trust and stuff. And literally recurringly for like the last 6 months, it has been, I'm actually really tired.
I'm done. I'm exhausted.
And I think you can feel these sorts of things brewing and accumulating over time. So it's actually nice to be able to curate a space where women can come and just rest.
Yeah.
Like adventure, don't get us wrong. The itinerary for Bali is lit, as it is for all our other international trips, but at least getting to just rest.
Yeah, we need a nap club or something.
I think we
TMS
do.
nap club.
Just
come and sleep.
A universal time where it's like all the sisters just shut off and sleep.
Just come and sleep. We might have some hot chocolates and some snacks and that, and then just go to bed. Nap club. We're trademarking that. Like, we need a nap club. But sisters, we appreciate your support as ever. Like, genuinely, we show up because of you guys. Honestly. We show up because you show up. And this is definitely us taking our own advice that we be listening back to them podcasts like, damn, they be saying some stuff that makes sense, some good things. And our first ministry is ourselves. Yeah, so we gotta sort some stuff out. But
first ministry is to Jesus.
Hey, it's to Jesus. Hallelujah. Glory be
to the Lord.
Glory be
to the Lord.
Adoration
to the Lord
in the highest.
Hallelujah. It's our new theme tune because that's the only thing that will get us through. Two unserious people. Yeah. We have a call in 25 minutes.
We haven't even done dilemma. Hey, dilemma. This dilemma is going to be a short one, please. Sister Courtney, keep this one 2 to 3 minutes. I'm watching. Anyways,
not express help.
Express help. Yes. For further help, please go to betterhelp.com
because it is better than what we can give you right now. I can guarantee. I can guarantee it's better.
You know what's actually funny? Somebody actually recommended that for a dilemma segment, we actually give each other our dilemmas.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, that's a good idea. Not for this episode.
Yeah, I was about to say.
That's a great idea. Thank you.
My only dilemma is I'm shattered. I'm tired.
Baby, you gotta rest. But I can't give you anything else because me too, I'm tired. So it's giving twins. Anyways, let's come in with that ding.
Dilemma.
Hey, sisters.
Hey, my lovely.
I have been struggling with relationships since the beginning of high school.
I hear it.
I'm in my...
I hear it.
She said these people out here. I'm in my second year of university now. I have been betrayed, cheated on, underappreciated, ignored at school and at home, and have honestly lost hope in ever finding a companion. I have had friends, but I have noticed that I find it hard to actually call them my friends due to my past. I realize that I find the smallest excuse to distance myself. I am finding it difficult to differentiate between my fear of being betrayed and actual red flags in friendships and romantic relationships. I want to put myself out there, but I am afraid. I also hate the feeling of having no one to trust or even call when I am so far from home. I'm independent, but it would be nice to have somebody, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm always the problem or if it's the people around me sometimes. I have tried reading self-help books, praying, and all those focus on yourself era activities, but I can't seem to forgive myself for something that I had no control over. This has really affected my level of confidence and how I view other people. Please help. Kind regards, your little sister.
That is tough.
Hard one, isn't it?
That is tough. I get it. I actually do. And I think over time, when something has happened to you, it can be really hard to heal. And healing is one of those things we can just throw around as if it's easy.
Right.
But once you try to do it, you realize there are some things that are hard to heal, right? Okay. And they may never even leave you the same. What I would say is embrace that this is gonna take some time. I love that you said like you've already done the self-help, you've already done the reading the books and getting equipped with all of this stuff. I think now it's just embracing that this is gonna be a process and really deciphering for yourself what does progress look like in this situation, right? So it's not necessarily having a squad of 10 friends by next year. It may be can I even sit down to have coffee with somebody?
Right.
Can I even like see if I am surrounded by people who I could potentially trust, and even allowing yourself to just be in social settings with people and allowing people to maybe not get all of you, but to at least get some of you, some of your time, some of your story, some of your heart may be a good way to ease yourself into that, because you're already starting a good is it a stroke? Is it a stroke? Am I dying?
It's the fact you looked at me like I got something bad.
Because I'm so confused at what's happening to me.
Well. It's okay, it's fine. This time tomorrow you're on a flight.
That's another problem though.
That is an issue, isn't it?
It's a 17-hour flight. Anyway, back to Good Sis Dilemma. You're already starting in a good place because you realize that this is a problem and something that which you want to overcome. In terms of when someone does something to you and it's like you're still dealing with the shock of the fact that this happened to you, you were hurt before, and now it makes it hard to let other people in. That is completely normal. A lot of us have trust issues, and this is not even in a negative sense. This is someone's actually like violated my trust, and now 100%. I don't know if I can trust other people again. The first thing I would say is, in trying to trust yourself, realize that their actions are a reflection on them. And just because you've let someone in close and they hurt you doesn't mean you're bad at vetting people. It just means that somebody may have changed, somebody may have hoodwinked you, and it's hard to accept that because we always want to pinpoint, well, what did I do wrong so that I can do it better or do it right next time so this never happens to me again. But let me just be honest with you, sis. Sometimes that is not possible. Sometimes there isn't something that you did wrong. Sometimes it's just that person was wrong for me. That person did me wrong. And now I need to move on. And I guess trying to like take from that the lessons, maybe like the red flags, or at least the things you learn about yourself, the ways that you do and don't want to be treated, and applying that to your next relationships could help your next relationships be better. But don't view it as, oh, I've let myself down and now can I even trust my judgment? Or now can I even am I able to forgive myself for not even allowing, but being in the position where I was hurt? Because don't victim blame yourself. Like, we can gaslight ourselves so much. Like, do not do that to yourself. You were hurt because that person, and I need you to reinforce this in your mind, that person was a bad person, or those people were bad people, not because you have a wisdom issue. And so now that you are trying to acquire wisdom, apply it. Take your time with it, okay? Allow yourself to heal. Allow yourself to enjoy people as well, and not just see the worst in the new people that come into your life or the people you have around you who haven't wronged you. Allow yourself to see the best in them and open yourself up slowly. But the biggest thing, and I know we're just joking about BetterHelp, but I do think the biggest thing here is go to therapy. Because as much as we can give you dilemma in we can answer your dilemma in 3-5 minutes, there's actually like a lot that you would need to talk through. And I think you also need the comfort that comes with that, which is having a safe space to talk to someone who can walk you through the issue. And I do know that like Therapy isn't always accessible, so that BetterHelp link is always in our description. But again, even if you can find counseling, did she say she's younger than us? Yeah. If you're in school or if you're in uni, then there should be like some counseling services. Maybe just putting some money together to allow yourself to get the counseling and the guidance that you need over time, because I don't think that this is a quick fix mindset issue, because you've already tried that stuff. So sometimes now it's about going on that journey, and sometimes going on that journey is made easier when you're going on it with a professional or someone who can help you.
I completely agree, and also great timing.
I
agree. I think there is an extent to which people can give you advice and your reality is still not matching up. And I think what's very important to acknowledge here is that you've actually done a lot of work to try and remedy this. You've actually tried, even though some of those like try-ins may have been misguided in terms of gaslighting yourself and like blaming yourself. You've actually tried with self-help. You've tried with fixing some of these relationships and whatnot, and we can't control the way that people interact with us or the way that people behave. And it just so happens that there are a few people that have negative upon negative upon negative experience, and we can't lie and say that won't be a significant issue when it comes to your mental health. And we can't say that this may that you can just pull yourself up and get yourself out of the trenches, because sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes what is emotional and mental ends up being clinical. And this is not to say that you are you may have clinical depression or you may be suffering from a more clinical mental health diagnosis. It's not a diagnosis, but I think it's definitely worth, again, engaging with a professional, or at least engaging with a community where you have people that have a bit more expertise in this area to help support and really get to the root of some of these, for example, failed relationships, especially because it feels like a 360 thing as well. It's not just one particular relationship that's not working, but also thinking about romantic relations, thinking about family relations that you mentioned, and then also friends. I think it's actually worth doing a bit of a sit down and engaging with professional support where is needed. So we would definitely encourage you to take up those counseling services. I know that there's a couple of organizations, depending on where you're based. I have no idea where you're based. But if there are any kind of like free counseling services or free opportunities for that, I would definitely take that up. I would also encourage you to kind of start small. In terms of like rebuilding relationships with other people. I know like have no idea what your family dynamic is. So that may not be the best place to start if there's a history of like some kind of genuine like conflicts or disagreements there. But in terms of you being in your second year of uni, I know it's a super turbulent time as well, and you're going through the whole like identity crisis. Is definitely something that I experienced during that second year of university. Just topsy-turvy, trying to figure out who is a friend and who isn't. I would definitely encourage you to start small in terms of like creating those friendships or those relationships, and take your time, as Courtney mentioned. I think when we think about like lifelong relationships or like the depth that we want from relationships, the honest truth is that these things take time, much like romantic relationships, to build up. So don't put too much pressure on yourself to have perfectly deep relationships right off the bat, because this is a time of extreme change and turbulence for a lot of people, especially in your particular like space. So take some time to really engage with professionals, start engaging with the people in the community around you at university on in ways that are lower stakes, ways that are like harmless interactions, and start building that back up in that way. And then as it pertains to your family, you may want to reach out. Again, have no idea. Depends on the dynamics of your family. Take that one slow, because I know that the family setup, man, we might have to do a whole episode where we talk, about the family dynamics and all that kind of stuff. But please do refer to some of our past podcast episodes where we've spoken with our sisters, who are actually, funnily enough, in that kind of space and that age as well. So that true. Might be really helpful in terms of understanding how they've overcome the challenges that you speak of. But other than that, sis, we are sending so much love and light. And genuinely, any sisters that are listening to this dilemma, as we have mentioned time and time again, this is a community and we are definitely not the experts. We support and share our insights, but we always defer to the sisters in our community that may have insights, wisdom, or are just prepared to, share an olive branch or even build those kind of relationships. So please drop it like it's hot in the comments below if you have a word of advice, an affirmation, or you're ready to give an olive branch to our little good sister who has written in. But sis, we are praying for you. We are praying for your peace of mind. And we're also praying that you find the resources, the people, and the community that you need to really thrive during this time. And we're wishing you all the best. Please keep us updated. We want to know how you are doing. And yeah, just keep us in the loop. We are really praying for your progress. Peace.
Love that.
Man, heavy stuff for an equally heavy topic.
All right.
Which yeah, so it's a deep one. And I was ruminating on this one because Courtney, you gotta stop looking at me like this, mate. I'm tired. I'm tired.
Go on. Sorry.
But no, I think it's the word ruminating. It's actually a funny word. But I was thinking about this. Actually, the topic for this episode actually came up in a funny way. In that I was having a conversation with a male friend of mine. And he was like, oh, women can't deal with rejection because obviously in like the dating space, it's usually like men that make the first move and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, women don't deal with rejection. But you know,
just farewell with it.
And this was the point anyway. We had that whole conversation, but I started thinking a little bit more deeply around this whole idea of rejection and, you know, putting yourself out there only for somebody to basically tell you no or undermine you or whatever. Yeah. And it made me just think more deeply around rejection in life and how there are certain instances for a lot of women where they are, you know, putting themselves out there. I know we were speaking about confidence in one of our previous episodes. You put yourself out there, you're a go-getter, you do all of these kind of things, and the universe tells you no.
Yeah.
Or some kind of manifestation of a no crops up, whether it's you shoot your shot at this guy that you liked and he said he doesn't like you because he doesn't find you attractive, or you shoot your shot for this particular opportunity and the door is slammed in your face again and again and again. So yeah, I guess I wanted to start with, have you ever experienced rejection in your life? And what was that experience? Because I think even that, right, like women sharing their experiences of being rejected, it feels like something that people hold so like close to their chest. It's like, I don't want people to know that I'm unwanted.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, talk to us about that.
Well,
it all started when
but for real, like I think especially when I was a child, there was a lot of, I was bullied when I was younger. I was like always the odd one out. So like there was always this element of, ew, like, why are you like that? Oh my gosh, why do you look like that?
Kids are mean,
you know. Oh, the worst.
Kids are horrible,
the absolute worst.
Horrible.
But even with that, like just wanting to be accepted, wanting to find belonging, wanting to find a group, and then constantly having it highlighted to you that no, you don't belong. No, we don't want you. I also think, just to take it deep for a second, like just daddy issues of like having an absent parent at certain points of my life where it's like, oh, why am I not wanted there? Like there are core memories. I think this is why I struggle to celebrate my birthday sometimes. Like there'll be times where it'll be my birthday and I'll just be like waiting by the phone, waiting for like my parents to call me. Then like I would end up calling them to be like, oh, it's my birthday today. And they'll be like, okay,
wow,
happy birthday then. And it was just like, I'm going to die. Like on that deep level. And then on top of it, like growing up, going through adolescence and just being like, oh, everyone else has boyfriends and I don't really have a boyfriend. Or like when I do have a boyfriend, they're trifling or like, do you know what I mean? And it's just like, oh my gosh, am I wanted? And I think there's always been, I think that's why I when I was younger, like I used to jump from dating this person to dating that person and always needing, even if they were no good and I didn't really like them, literally dogs. I always needed someone on standby just because I always wanted to feel like I was wanted. And I think that that's a very, sometimes a common thing for people to experience in some way. One thing that I've realized about myself though in general is when I feel like rejected and when I feel like, oh, I've put myself out there and I haven't gotten the response that I've wanted, it has completely made me shut off from wanting to ever pursue that thing again.
Right.
Like, and I think that's most people, right? Like, no, I am never going to allow you to do that to me.
You dirty dog. Never.
I'm never going to. And then that kind of leads you to sometimes jump to another extreme, which is like not just hyper independence, but literally like I will never allow anybody in close enough, or I'll never allow anybody to know that I desire something or I have needs that need to be fulfilled in order for them to reject me or in order for them to let me down. So even things like asking people to support me or asking people to love me the way I want to be loved. It's like, I don't even want to put that out there because I don't want you to reject me in some way. And I don't want to feel that kind of pain or unwantedness ever again, which has definitely impeded people's ability to love me well and love me deeply. And me experience that, which then fulfills this very toxic cycle of thinking, oh my gosh, everyone is rejecting me, or no one's allowing me or bringing me in. And it's like, but you're not actually allowing yourself to come close to people. So yeah, how about you?
Child, I felt that deep within my spirit. Lots of resonance there, especially the point that you just made around like shutting people out.
Yeah,
I am the queen of shutting people out. Lord, we thank God for therapy, changes, growth. But it's even something that I still consciously struggle with and have to actively be like, okay, Renee, you can't shut down. I was actually listening to Jackie Hill Perry. There was like actually, baby, if you listen to this, we love you. And she was just talking about the weaponization of the silent treatment, or the weaponization of shutting people out. Wrecked me for filth. I said, if you wanted to at me, my name, full name, at Renee, you like, do you know what I mean? I was just like, wow, that's me to a T. Because I didn't even want to entertain the thought of someone having enough power or someone even thinking or knowing that they could impact me. And definitely very similarly, like when like your caregivers or your parents don't show up for you, or when you're constantly told like if you exhibit any like kind of weakness, then you will be rejected, or if you exhibit any kind of need, you will be rejected. To me, if the need doesn't exist, or I suppress the need to the point that like, do you know what I mean? Then there's no rejection. I don't ever want to be in a place where somebody has the capacity to tell me that I'm unloved or not wanted. And also similarly, going through like bullying and having people actively tell you that you're not desirable. I don't want to be friends with you. I think I've spoken about this before, but one I will never forget that one time.
Trauma.
It's giving trauma. My therapist listening to this is like, oh, there she go again. We talked about this like 7 times. But it reminds me of a time where I had told like one of my friends in so-called friends in secondary school that I liked this boy. Like I really, really liked him. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is the first guy that I actually had feelings for. I didn't even know what feelings were because I was like adolescent, but like, you know, all the bunnies all and the butterflies and all that kind of stuff. And I remember her saying to me like, he would never find you attractive because you're this, you're that, and that broke my heart. It's like, damn, is this how I'm going to be perceived by people? Not just, and I think the pain of it was not even the realization that I was like not wanted in the romantic sense, but also not wanted in like friendship. And it was very, very difficult for me to open up to people because it felt like I was the laughing stock. And what's really actually funny and super tangential is the fact that I think for both of us, humor has been a great coping mechanism or a great tool. The reason why we're actually quite funny is because we've been through a lot. It's genuinely trauma and it's a great coping mechanism.
It's great comedic material.
You know, it's like, focus on your personality, they say. And then you glow up and it's like, oh yeah, you're the full package now because you're cute and whatnot.
You've got personality.
And you got personality. It was the trauma.
Yeah, 100%. And now you don't even want the people that want you.
That's the tea, and that's for another episode. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. But also similarly, like even when it came to like romantic relationships, I was very like, it takes me a while to open up to people, right? Same. That whole, I need to make sure that you want me first and then I can decide to want you, because I don't,
and I can decide to let you know that I want you.
There you go. So there's very much a power dynamic, but also an insecurity there. The power thing, the power play is really, really important. And I think being somebody that has been so disempowered in so many instances and so many places, it almost became an opportunity for me to reclaim power, right? The withdrawing or the holding back of like my emotions and opening up to people so that I wouldn't be rejected. Because I've been rejected in so many other spaces in my life, I said, you know what? In this domain, I am king, not queen, I am king. And it's so unfortunately toxic because, as you were saying, it prevents people from loving you well. No risk, no reward. And as much as you've been hurt, as much as you've been pained, as much as you've gone through a lot, full transparency, to really experience the fullness of love and acceptance, you also have to open yourself up to the possibility of rejection.
So good.
And it's oftentimes through experiencing the height of rejection that you really get to understand the height of real love. Do you know what I mean?
Most definitely. When you block that thing out, when you kind of guard yourself off from any pain, you actually stop yourself from feeling that tenderness of love. Like it's almost like when you're scared of people touching you. People can touch you and stab you, like, let's be real. Honestly. But also they can touch you and hug you. And if you don't let anyone touch you, you'll never experience that. You'll never experience the warmth. You'll never experience the depth. And I think that's the core of vulnerability. I'm going to reveal myself to you and trust that you won't hurt me with what it is that I reveal to you, right? That you won't break it, that you won't stab me. And a lot of us are just trying to keep our, you know, cards close to our chest, or we're trying to keep ourselves covered up. And it's like, you can't build intimate relationships that way. And so many of us desire intimate relationships, but we're trying to avoid that part.
And it's hard.
No doubt about it.
Even I got like high key triggered there because I also didn't like to be touched for a really long time.
Neither did I. I found it disgusting.
As you can see, we've been through a lot in our lives. And the funny thing is, like, now, one of my like top love languages is actually physical touch. And you realize, damn, people really subverted and messed up things for you because, boy, give me a hug. You better back it up. Why are you so close? Breathing on me. Ew, stop.
I would never forget when my younger sister would want me to hug her. I think we even joked about it in our episode we did together where she was trying to give me a hug at the end of the episode. So it was just kind of like, stay away.
Can you stop?
But honestly, like, when we were younger, she is a physical touch person. She's never struggled with that. And so even to give me a hug, like, it would genuinely almost make me feel physically sick. Like, I would have a visceral reaction to like, why are you touching me? To the point where I'd get angry. Ew, stay away from me.
It's they're there.
It's like, but I also think there's something about like seeing our parents and like not seeing physical affection sometimes and the importance of that. Like, I think past being a baby, I was thinking about this recently because of Micah, my godson. And I was just kind of like, think about how many times you're held and you have this close contact with people. But as you get older as an adult, no one thinks you need a hug like that.
Man.
Like, apart from the normal, like, oh, hey, hug, or bye, hug, who actually comes to you and is like, let me actually just embrace you and hold you, and how much comfort and soothing we actually experience from that embrace when we are younger. I don't think it leaves us when we get older, but often we're just deprived of it because people think we don't need it or that it's childish.
And it's funny because my theory is that this is why a lot of people pursue these kind of like back-to-back relationships, or they over-index on physical touch in romantic relationships because they've actually been deprived of like care in that particular manner to the point where it's actually subversive. It's like the only physical touch that I will get is when I'm having sex.
Yeah, sexual.
And even then it becomes a bit awkward because it's like after you've, you know, bust your nut or whatever, you're now looking at the stranger like, oh, you touched me quite intimately. Like, you touched
oh my god,
yeah, like he you touched me quite when it's like maybe you needed just a hug from your friend, but like your mama just needed to hug you. And it's funny because there's been so many other situations that I've been in community with women, and you can see that, or even men in general, like, or friends, and it's like you can see that they're actually upset. And at first, like back in the day, I used to be that there person, like the two fingers, like, I don't know what to do here. How do I soothe
not a little stroke and
like,
caress?
Do your thing. Now I'm kind of like I can sense you need a hug, and it's that hug that you hug someone and they start bawling.
Let me tell you, damn. I have turned hugs into a ministry, like 100%. An actual ministry, like actually being there to embrace someone and allow them to feel that warmth and that transfer of like love in a safe place. I absolutely love it. Like, when I see you guys and you give me a hug, like, I actually hope that you experience the type of hugs that I give, because I also think because I've lacked it for so long, when someone embraces you, I don't know why we're harrying on this point, but just beautiful. Hug a friend, hug a sister this week. Because like, when someone gives you a deep hug and they're not quick to let go, but they actually let you know like you're safe here, it just allows you to break all those walls down and truly allow yourself to feel what you've been feeling. We're all carrying so many deep pains or feeling like we have to keep up a front of strength, when actually, when somebody embraces you and they let you know, I've actually got you in this situation, I'm holding you, can lean on me, you actually let all those things down and you allow yourself to feel what you're actually feeling. So you will cry or you will like just be like, wow, like this person has actually seen me. And I love giving people that feeling.
Yeah, same. I
really do.
Because back in oh my gosh, I'll never forget, like maybe a couple of like years ago, Courtney already knows I'm not like a massive crier. Like I'm not a massive, but all it takes is like, I used to avoid like physical touch for that particular reason because I was scared of giving into that. I was scared of, all it takes is that person to actually see me properly and they realize that this is a mask that I'm wearing or there is a facade here and I haven't had the time to go and process my emotions alone. But actually giving someone the time and the safety to process their emotions in public with you, it's a different type of intimacy.
100%.
So I don't know how we got to this point around physical touch and whatnot, but it's actually necessary. It's a ministry, and please hug your friends like your actual friends. Don't be thinking that hugs are reserved for your man. Hug your friends.
Need hugs too.
Hug your parents, bruv. I know it's awkward, but good. Even like recently now, it's like hugging my siblings and hugging my parents. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
I can kind of like you, But before we close, I actually wanted to touch on really briefly the big question, the big issue, which is when you make very significant life mistakes.
Yeah.
Right. And I know obviously we're on this glowing and growing journey, upward trajectory, but the reality of the situation is sometimes we are glowing and growing and yet we get it wrong.
100.
How can women who feel like they have made a critical mistake, whether it be in their relationships, whether it be in their career, and they feel like they've gone to a place of no return, how can they start making that journey back to a place of light?
That's good. First of all, I know people always say like, oh, forgive yourself and stuff, but honestly, realize that you don't have to be perfect all the time.
Exactly.
Like allow yourself to come to a realization that, I made a mistake because I'm a human like everybody else. Because the same way you give other people grace and you're like, oh yeah, of course, like so many other circumstances would have impacted why you make that decision and you have empathy.
Yeah.
You need to show that towards yourself and allow yourself to, not be held to this impossible standard of getting everything right all the time.
Absolutely.
You are a human being. You are going to make some bad choices, some errors, some bad turns, and that's okay. That's actually normal, and you deserve as much grace and forgiveness as everybody else in the world and everybody who you are trying to forgive.
Absolutely.
And so allow yourself to truly forgive yourself and realize that like that forgiving yourself doesn't have to be deep. It has to be like, it can often, even for myself, it has been, oh right, I messed that up. Okay, cool. You say your sorries if other people are impacted by your decisions. You hope that they forgive you, but also you don't keep beating yourself up about it. You just try and commit yourself to do better next time. And that brings me on to my next point, which is, what is the bad decision that you made? How did you get to where you are right now? And what can be done, not necessarily to reverse engineer that, but actually to re-navigate to where you originally wanted to be, right? So really, where did I go wrong? What was it? A lack of information? Was it somebody gave me bad advice? Was it that I didn't have confidence in myself to take this particular leap? Or, was I just not acting in my right mind? What the circumstances around me, did that skew my discernment, skew my decision making? And realize, okay, how do I now mitigate those factors? How do I now get rid of those factors? How do I get clued up and make sure that I am equipped, with the right knowledge so that I can make better decisions? And then the last thing is, I know you may feel like this is a decision you made on your own, but you don't have to navigate your way out of it on your own. You can actually bring people around you to help you deal with the fallout, deal with the consequences of your actions. And I know oftentimes, especially growing up, we hear this cultural thing of like, you got yourself into it, you get yourself out of it. That is not a principle when you're trying to do community, when you're trying to do sisterhood. You got yourself into it, yes, but we've got to get you out of it. And you kind of have to take yourself to other people and receive their help, to whether it be their knowledge, their finances, their time, their advice, their whatever, their care, to help you get out of this situation that you have been in. And I would say on the flip side of that, if you are someone comes to you and they're like, I made a big mistake, help. Like actually help them. It's easy to just point at like, oh, you should have done this better. You should have. They probably already know. Exactly. I told you so. They probably already know all of that. Now the ministry of sisterhood begins and you've got to help them get out. That's what I'd say.
I absolutely love that. That was given point, evidence, explanation, link back to the question.
I do try.
As you can tell, she has a degree from Cambridge.
I do have a degree. I do have two.
That's why you should vote for her as the rising star for founder brand. I mean, there
are many people out there with that.
But there are very few. In fact, only one that I know that is Kunkuni Daniela Boateng, and only one that is nominated for the Founder Brand Rising Star Award. So you ought to.
Screaming.
You know, there's certain words. Sorry, there's certain words in the English dictionary that I think are so funny in conversation. Like ought is one of them.
Ought is a great one.
But yeah, I love everything that you said.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that I would add is just remember that you are worth saving. Yes. I think sometimes we get ourselves into these predicaments and think that by virtue of our actions or like our past or whatever, we can't be saved. We are past the point of saving. And if you are alive and if you are breathing, you are not past the point of saving. If you still have life, that means you're still on assignment.
There's still something.
And there's some days that even I personally sometimes wake up and I'm like, Lord, you ain't called me home yet. There's things going on and I'm tired.
I was thinking that yesterday.
Do you know what I mean?
God, like, if you want to do a little toot from the sky, I'll come. Draw me close to you.
If you want to take me, I ain't go resist. I'll go willingly. If you're coming to ransack my house, kick up a fuss. I will open that door to you. Open the door. Hallelujah.
We are not suicidal.
We're not suicidal. Yeah, I always have to say that when I say things like that. We are not. We are not. But if you are alive, I always just hear, if you're alive, you're on assignment.
There we go.
Even if you have deviated, even if it takes you the long way around, even if you have to go through a maze to get back to your original position, you're going to do what? Start again. When you lose a game, you start again. You don't just, push it to the side. You might go to sleep. You wake up tomorrow. You might take a nap. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to go back to where you started and start again.
Facts.
So remember that you are not past the point of saving, irrespective of who it is currently impacting. You may have, for example, been in a toxic relationship and the outfalling of that is you lost a couple of things, or you've ended up in a quote unquote broken family. But you know what your broken family needs from you right now? Wholeness. And in order to get whole, you need to go back to the beginning and you start again. So for those of you that think that you are past saving, you are not past saving. In fact, this is the beginning of you getting saved.
Good.
Faith is such a big thing when it comes to pivoting, changing, transforming your life and being transformed.
Yeah.
You need to have faith. Like it even says in the word that faith is evidence of things that are hoped for, but yet not seen. You have to ensure that you have that hope, that faith in the things that are not yet seen, but will be made manifest. Good. It is literally the seed of what you're going to see. When you plant a seed, you don't see the plant straight away. You have to, water it, nurture it in the good faith that all of these actions that you are taking will one day yield fruit. Plant the seed today, start doing the nurturing, start doing the work, and one day that plant will bear fruit, irrespective of the circumstances that you stand in. Now that you have the opportunity to change the circumstances of your seed, take the seed to good soil, start that work again, and you have got this.
We love to see.
But sisters,
that was really
Speedy, good. We tried. Sisters, it's tough out here. Life is hard. Life is hard. We ain't gonna sit there. We ain't gonna sit here and cap, because people come up on here or mics and whatnot and try and motivate you. We're not trying to motivate you. We're just trying to allow you to see that there is great power that resides on the inside of you already. Facts. We're just here to tease out what's already there. We ain't doing nothing new here. There's nothing new under the sun. And we want you to do that in a community where you feel safe. Because we want you to feel safe so that you can create safe spaces for the other sisters around you. So whether you're dealing with rejection, whether you're dealing with failure, whether you're dealing with the big life mistakes or a decision didn't pan out, remember that you are worth saving, you are worth changing, you are worth transforming, and your life is going to be transformed. Even listening to this podcast, the one thing, just take one thing, it might be hugging a sister, it might be getting the courage to start again. It might be whatever it is. Just take an action as a result of this podcast. Don't let these words fall to the ground.
Please.
Pick them up and plant the seed. Your harvest is coming. I sound like such a minister right now. Yeah, it's given pastor. It's given pastor, guest pastor. But our time is fast spent. We have a myriad of things to do. Keep us in your prayers. Follow us on all of our social media platforms at To My Sisterhood everywhere. Literally every. The sisters can't hide. Follow my lovely co-host at CD Boateng. Of course, come and follow me over at Renee Kapuku on all socials.
We love to see it. Sign up to the mailing list, tomysisters.com, to get weekly glowing and growing tips, as well as love letters from us straight to your inbox. Okay, sisters, we hope that you truly do have an amazing week. We promise we'll be back with longer episodes.
We will.
Once we're back, we'll probably be tanned as well.
We're brown. We're gonna be brown
for real. But keep us in your prayers. You are in our prayers. We love you guys so much, and as always, keep glowing and growing.